today to record live for you guys. I'm doing another tarot reading for you guys here on YouTube. And yeah, I am still structuring this like a pick a card reading. So I'm going to hold up 3, maybe 4 cards, and then you can pick one that you resonate with. If you'd like to get a private reading with me, you can book a reading through my website. All the links are on there. Basically, you just send a payment through PayPal, Cash App, or Venmo for $75 for the half an hour or $90 for the 45-minute reading. I'm also doing $75 email readings, and you can also book through Etsy, my Birds Fly Etsy shop. I'm behind right now on editing my videos, but all the links are on my website, OracleDaphne.com. So yeah, so there's that. And then I'm still not able to monetize my videos. So those of you who are able to donate, even if it's $10, means a lot to me, helps me out right now. There's been a lot of issues with my job search, and just, would really appreciate it at this time. So I just wanted to say, hey, if you can send $10 for donation, I'd really, really appreciate it, and be grateful for it. So, and then also I am still promoting, I have 2, I'm not sure what I do with them. Here we go. I have 2 Oracle card readings that I made. They're $30 a piece. Those are on my Etsy shop also. Those of you who don't want to do like the $75 reading, you're more than welcome to buy those. Those will get shipped within 2 business days. They'll go out and they'll come in the mail. So they're already pre-made Oracle card readings, and they come in the form of like a letter. So those of you who maybe like mail or pay, pen pals and stuff like that, you might enjoy those. Yeah, so I'm just gonna jump right in. I'm ready to go here. I'm gonna hold up 3 cards. So this is group 1, card 1. This is group 2, card 2. And this is card 3, group 3. Okay, so I'm going to pull some cards to see what else I get here for you guys. And I forgot to mention that if you wanted to do if you had a question, you can send a payment for $25 through Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal, and I will answer in my live chat. So I am trying to do live chats today, both on YouTube as well as Instagram. So let's see what we get here. Group 1, the first card we got is the Hermit card. And the Hermit card is, to me, about, taking a moment to kind of pull your energy back. People, I feel like psychics all the time are talking about meditation. And the thing is for me, it took me a long time to actually find meditation videos that I could really get into. Like everything else seemed kind of just too far out there for me. So like when I listen to meditation videos, they're like 10-minute relaxation videos that kind of walk me through being relaxed. And it really helps clear my head. And usually I'll fall asleep within those 10 minutes and like wake up and then listen to it again. I wish there was like an extended version. Hey, Anahi, I'm not saying if your name right. Anahi, if you want to ask a question, you're more than welcome to send a payment through Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal for $25. I am accepting questions, but you would need to send a payment. I'm not able to answer like free questions at this time. I noticed that people were asking me, like when I first started doing more live readings on YouTube, personal questions, and I had started to answer them, but then I didn't feel that it was fair to my private clients. So so you can go ahead if you want to do that, make sure you ask the question in the live chat first. That's interesting. You're asking me, have I tried mugwort tea? Yes. Yes. I also actually smudge a lot of mugwort. Mugwort is one of my favorite, really one of my favorite like herbs really of all time. I love the energy of mugwort. I really actually wish people would smoke mugwort more than they do other things. Just because mugwort has such a just like better energy overall. That's my feeling. I just love the plant. I love mugwort in general. I feel like it's such a, the plant itself is so, I was going to say, sorry, you're asking me a question. I'm going to interrupt my thought. The plant is so willing to help. That plant is just always willing to help. It has such a generous spirit. So that's why I love the plant, so mugwort plant so much. And mugwort, for those of you who don't know, is an herb, and there's a lot of history with mugwort. And but it kind of functions similar to sage, but you know, when you burn it, it puts you to sleep. So to answer your question about it, meditation, if I burn too much mugwort on a day where I'm trying to get things done, I might find myself very tired or sleepy, and then I'll fall asleep. My Cash App is the $ OracleDaphne, but make sure you ask me the question before you send the payment. That way I can make sure it's a question that's appropriate for this context. Some career questions are too in depth. So you would need to schedule a private reading. I just want to be sure before, you know, we proceed here. I've actually, with mugwort, don't dream that much. If I burn it, I don't dream that much. I fall asleep. I fall asleep very well, and then, you know, I wake up like normal. It's actually like a better sleep, I feel. I don't know why. But then again, I astral travel, so like when I sleep, and so I don't know if mugwort prevents me from astral traveling, but whatever happens with the mugwort, I always feel very relaxed. But I feel like people need to, for meditation, if they're not able to get quiet, listen to like a 10-minute relaxation meditation, and that's fast and it's usually pretty efficient. So that's my suggestion. But I also think that like this card to me is about not putting so much energy out into the world, and like pulling your energy back and focusing on yourself, which is, you know, sometimes necessary. Like if we're so like what's going on in the world, and what's going on with our job, and what's going on with this, that, and the other, and we're bouncing around, it's important to get collected, collect your energy. Objective intuition. I'm not sure if you heard what I said about the asking me the question before you send the payment, but the Cash App is $ OracleDaphne. So it's just the $ and then, you know, OracleDaphne. Let me see if I can respond to you. I'm still not able to respond. Let me see. Objective intuition, while you're thinking about that, I'm going to move on and pull some other cards and some other messages for some of these other people that are in group 1. And hopefully we'll get something good here. Oh, okay, so there's a message here about creating like a sacred space. And it's important that people, I don't know, like there's some people that don't really believe in this. So I'm just going to say it anyways. Like, and I've talked about this before in my YouTube videos where I've talked about how people's homes tend to get very toxic, is in the sense that the energy can be very intense or tense. Sometimes it's not clean. Sometimes there's just a lot of clutter. Sometimes it's just the energy is not really, conducive to relaxing. So some of you really need to get critical or analytical about your space and make sure you're creating a space, at least one surface that's sort of meant as like a sacred space. Like some people would call that like an altar, but it doesn't have to be. It could be honestly just like the top of a dresser, you know, where there's special objects and maybe some candles and put some fresh flowers. And it's this space that you keep, and I'm getting a tingle on this, a space that you keep sort of very clean and that you respect. And in some way, your whole house needs to kind of be like that. Um, you know, ideally, your whole house, your space needs to be sort of ship shape, you know, and so some of you just need to kind of get more critical about how you want your space to be, what it feels like, what is it going to take to get it to feel a certain way, you know, is it going to be maybe getting a comfortable couch, or is it going to be getting fresh flowers, you know, on a regular basis? Is it going to be, you know, buying some things to make it, more special, you know, maybe it's artwork, you know, for some people it's decorating their home in a sacred kind of way and respecting that space because it's your space. So you know, I'm getting that too, like creating the altar though is something that's coming through, and it doesn't have to, you don't have to call it an altar, it doesn't have to be where you're worshiping anything. It just like for me, like my table is kind of like this sacred space to me. It has my plants and it always has like, you know, and I'm reading in my sacred space because I'm reading from the table too. So there's just certain things that are like always here, and it's a space that I very, very much respect. So that's something to think about, that's coming through here. You guys kind of got a very interesting, honey, objective intuition. I can't do a general reading right now in this reading for you specifically because it's when I pull cards for people, it's, you know, I would need to really tune into your energy and get quiet for your energy. And right now I'm just like, I'm kind of open as far as what the messages are for like more than one person, you know, like the average of like 80 to 100 people are watching these videos. So even though that's a small amount of people, it's still enough people watching these videos for me to not be able to really tune in. So objective intuition, I would tell you, this is where I would really strongly suggest, you know, if you have my Cash App information, go ahead, send a payment for $75. I'll reach out to you. We'll book the reading, maybe sometime this week, probably within the next 2-3 days. Oh, there's Toya. Hey, Toya. Thanks so much for joining. I appreciate it. So yeah, okay, I want to go back to this spread that I'm on because there's the what I call like an interesting 50-50 split. And there's another card here that I want to talk about. So there's two cards. What is a 50-50 split? A 50-50 split is where the last four cards of a spread are two are positive and two are negative. And sometimes the last two are positive and sometimes the last two are negative. In this case, the final two are positive, which means it's more like a 75-25 that you're going to get to this positive energy and things will turn out all right. You do have the Two of Swords plus the Tower coming in, you know, the two out of the four. And I don't know how that's going to apply to you. Like the Two of Swords is usually irreconcilable differences, not being on the same page as someone, sometimes like not communicating well with someone. I call this the bloody wanker card, where, you know, you see the potential in a relationship and somebody else doesn't. I don't, you know, maybe it's weird that it's coming in though, because it's like, usually, like if there's no contact, then why would that no contact be coming in? It just is sort of in a weird spot, and I don't really know why. Some of you may be like calling back someone or like calling an ex, maybe that's what it is, where you're reaching out to an ex or you're reaching out to someone where you aren't in contact and like maybe you're hoping that things would change. Some of you, there's a person maybe where you're reaching out to them and they don't want to communicate. This is for a very small amount of you, though. I feel like mostly this is just someone that's that you're trying to communicate with. Like, to me, that's what it is. You're trying to communicate with them, and it's just not really working. And I don't know why, whoever it is that you're communicating with, and this could be somebody around you. This doesn't have to be you. And the fact that it's coming in from the outside means that like maybe this is someone that's around you. And I'm getting a tingle on that, where there's someone like, let's just say, is around you that's in your space somehow. This could be your workspace. This could be your home space. This could be someone that you meet on the street, literally. Someone around you where there's like, maybe arguments or like a stalemate or something where that's like communication is not quite right with that person. It doesn't have to be you, okay? I'm seeing like there's a lot of frustration and feeling overburdened because we have the Ten of Wands. And this is usually female energy, but it can be male energy. And this came up, I think, in one of my last, readings where the Ten of Wands to me indicates some kind of breakdown. It can be an emotional breakdown, a mental breakdown, physical. Sometimes this has to do with things that we have, things that break, like it's weird in life, during the last 6 months, I realized that, when we have a job, we take for granted being able to repair stuff because shit breaks all the time. It's sort of like you can't sort of like just push the pause button on life and tell things not to break, because it's just, things just do, whether you're bump something over or whether it's a pair of jeans that rip or in the wrong spot or, it's something where it's electronics, all kinds of stuff that can happen where things break. And so, this could be for some of you, some kind of like appliance or electronic piece that you have. I don't necessarily feel like it's a cell phone. Like my guide's showing me like for me, like my tablet died, all of a sudden, poof, there it went. I knew it was going to go, but I just didn't know when. And then suddenly it's like, it won't even turn on. So, let me see. Toya, I know you sent me donations before, so I'm gonna say yes. I'm happy to answer that question if you want, because you have sent me other donations. So I'm just gonna say yes to that, to answering your question. But let me finish my thought because I'm in the middle of a thought here, but go ahead and ask your question in the chat, okay? But I did see that come through. Yes. Okay. So there's this energy. I just need to, okay, there we go. Okay, so we have this the tower in the position of emotions, actually. And the tower in the position of emotions has a special meaning and significance to me personally, because I saw this for myself when, I had requested my cousin send me some of my grandfather's things who had passed away. And like basically when I saw him last, all that was really left of his stuff was like these handkerchiefs. And I had requested my cousin send me these handkerchiefs. And it took, I think, like over a year for my cousin to send me the handkerchiefs. And then out of the blue one day, she sent them to me. And I got them in the mail. And I remember sitting down on the edge of my couch, just like, as soon as I went into my apartment, and just bursting into tears, just like, it was like spontaneous combustion. Like I couldn't even really like control it. Just like all of a sudden I was just like bursting into tears. And it was like it just came out of nowhere. Like I didn't really know like how I didn't really know that I was going to get the package that day, and I didn't know that I would feel so strongly about it, and I didn't really know that would happen, but it was just like, again, spontaneous combustion. So for some of you, you might get something in the mail and have like an emotional response. Somebody might say something to you and have an emotional response. To me, this is not like having like a negative, angry outburst. Although for some of you, if you're dealing with an angry person or a person that has been known to have angry outbursts in the past, or to get upset over things in a very like abrasive, angry way, then this could be them having that response. But if like this, to me, this is more personal. It's more like, to me, it's you, the person who's watching. So those of you who are watching, I would say this could be even like where you are driving down the street and all of a sudden you hear something come on, some music that comes on, and you have like an emotional response. Like there's some kind of thing that you connect to, and it's like this emotional response. And again, it's gonna come at a time where you might be having a great day, you might be in a great mood, and then suddenly you're having this emotional response to something. And I'm saying this because it was very specific to me at that time. And when I see this card, that's how I usually read it. I usually read it like whoever I'm reading it for is going to have an unexpected emotional response. And it's not bad, it's just unexpected. And it's just probably more like emotion than you would think. Like, so like if you were to go out, you might have a great day, and then suddenly you are having, a lot of tears, things like something like that. The final two cards are very positive for this group. So because again, it's moving into away from some of this and more negativity. And the way to really overcome the negativity is to make sure that you're going out and having some fun. You're going out and doing things that are fun for you. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go and you have to drink at the bar, okay? It doesn't mean that. Like, some people, like, fun is literally just going and playing frisbee with their dog, Some people, fun is going and looking at all the plants at Lowe's and Home Depot, Now is the time for it. So, like, for me, and when I lived in Omaha, that's all that I did. I would, like, on the weekends, I'd go light candles at the church, and then I would go to Lowe's, and then I'd go to Home Depot, and then I'd go to, the little nursery down the way from my house. It was constant, like, plants. So, but other people might not see that as fun. Like, some people think that fun is bringing a six-pack out onto their boat and going for, an outing with some friends. It's really going to be different for everybody. But whatever it is, whatever fun is for you, that's what you need to do in order to kind of I feel like the words get away from this negativity, get away from the toxicity. Encourage whoever it is that's around you that again, they might be having an emotional response. You might be having an emotional response, but again, it's the negativity that you're wanting to get away from. Okay, Toya, ready to go here. Fire away. Let's see. Okay, Toya, you gotta ask me the question, dear. Okay, so you want to know, Toya is asking a personal question, because she sent her payment about romance this year. Just a moment. You've got a very strong blockage, Toya. You've got the Emperor in what's coming in from the outside. Now, this could be a Taurus, Capricorn, or Virgo male, okay? And anybody who's watching, I'm just going to say that if you have a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn male in your life, you know, they could be also blocking you as well. This is not necessarily only applicable for Toya here. I'm going to say that. Just because there's a lot of people watching and it is possible it could be applicable. To me, the Emperor in this position is like the no. I hate to say this, Toya, because it seems like, you got the Lovers in the position of attitude. So, it looks like that's what you want. You've got the Ace of Wands and the emotions, which isn't bad, you've got your Kundalini fire. That's awesome to see. But I don't, to answer your question, it feels like this Emperor, whatever this Emperor is for you, whether it's fate or whether it's a person or whether it's, the Emperor says no, not this year. You're going to need to change some things, dear. Like, I don't really know. We got a couple of cards later on. To me, you might be dealing with someone who's doubled up, or later on in time, because we got the Devil, we got the Two of Pentacles, or somebody who's doubled up, like where they have somebody already, or, maybe dating multiple people. Usually this is a person who has two girlfriends, two ex-wives, two people they're talking to. This is the shuffle playlist. This is the person that's like, sleeping with two people or more. Okay. There's a strong Gemini energy here, and the Gemini energy is, to me, like Gemini male strongly that's coming through. And whether they're Gemini or not, whoever this is, I feel like this is also an issue. Like, so my thing for you is like, whoever it is that you're trying to meet, I feel like either you're not putting effort into meeting wherever it is that you're going to meet them, or you're attracting people or saying yes to people that don't really want a relationship. It doesn't feel to me that these people want a relationship. And it seems to me like the more like you date, the more upset and bitter you're going to become. To me, it feels like you've got this Queen of Swords energy and this Five of Pentacles showing up, Toya. And to me, that's, you can see she's crying. It's just like later in time, you could meet this Nine of Cups person. You could meet the Knight of Pentacles person. I see you being socially active, but I don't necessarily think that whoever it is you're meeting through like that social group, or, let's just say hypothetically you went out with some girlfriends, wherever it was, to a bar or club or to a party. I don't necessarily feel like the people that are going to be there are going to be the people that are going to want a long-term relationship. They might want to sleep with you. They might want to hook up. There's a lot of confusion about relationships here. Yeah. I just feel like there's a lot of things that needs to get changed. That's what I would say. In order for the answer to be a yes, Toya, it just needs to get changed. Like, I see the toxic stuff, and I see that, there's potentials for other things, but I'm sorry. The thing about time is that time can change. I mean, some people say that there is no time. It just seems like if you want things to change with people, I don't know. This is where I would also say, like, if we did a private reading, I'd say I want to look at another spread to see, I'd want you to ask me the question, what about this guy that you're interested in? Is he good or is he bad? From what I'm looking at with the cards, I would say he's not good because it's not leading to romance, Is it like a friends with benefits type situation? Has he ever said that he wanted a relationship? These are all questions that you know, and the thing about Capricorn males, like if you're interested in a Capricorn male, Capricorn males usually put it out there if they're wanting something serious. But I've also dated Capricorn males, and I dated this one Capricorn male who was like very confusing because at the beginning he seemed like he wanted a relationship. And then we hooked up, and then suddenly later he wasn't into a relationship. So he did this switch thing. He pulled like a switch. Hang on just a second. Is that Cherie? Oh, Cherie, honey. Cherie, go ahead. You know, go ahead and send a payment if you want to do a private reading. Yeah, send a payment. You know, like the normal way. That's what I would do. Let me see here. Just a second. Toya, did I answer your question? I think Dipti also wanted to ask a question. Cherie, if you wanted me to ask a question for $25 in this chat, I'm happy to. You can send $25 through PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App, and I can if you want. But knowing you, I would say I would probably just send 75 and do like 30 minutes. You know, like maybe in a private session. That's what I would say. Because just knowing you, there's probably going to be more. It's going to be one question is going to lead to more questions, you know? So I would say probably not in this chat, but you know, if you want to, honey, it's okay, you know? Okay, I want to address Dipti because Dipti asked me, can I ask a question? Dipti, to answer your question, anybody who in this chat who wants me to answer a question live can send a payment through PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App, but I prefer that they ask the question first so I can look at it and say, yeah, it's not too complicated for this chat because it can get really complicated real fast in these chats. So I want to be sure that I want to be sure I'm fair to everyone. So, okay. So I think I addressed everybody here. And also, Toya, the other thing too is, you know, what about farther out? We're not looking, because you asked, the question you asked was about a year. You know, what about 2 years time? What about 3 years time? What about a year and 6 months time? You know? But I would say like your path needs to be very clear. And you know, a relationship is two people. It's not just about what you want. And it's so funny. Okay. So, and I'm getting a tingle on this. Okay. It's so funny. How can I get a tingle? I'm wearing a fleece and a t-shirt. But okay. So I was watching don't ask me why. Okay. I was watching this clip from Anna Green Gables. I don't know. Was it yesterday or the day before? And she's walking with her best friend, Diana. Of course, Anna Green Gables is you know, the one with Megan Follows is a movie that I was obsessed with as a young child. And I watched it a million times. And I quote from it to this day because I pretty much have memorized the entire movie. But she's funny. She talks about her ideals and what are her ideals. And that she would never give up her ideals. And Diana asks her, well, what if you never meet this person that's idealistic? And she says, well, then I'll die an old maid. And I thought that's so interesting because it's totally like for many people, like the perspective that they have, is very depressing because it's like, well, if it's not in the cards, then they assume that it's impossible. Or if it's not their ideal person, then they get very upset. Or like, even for me, like I thought that there was a chance with someone and I felt like I lost that chance and I got very upset. And the thing is like, but at the time, I was still focused on what a relationship was for me, what the relationship in my mind idealistically was for me. And if we can get past idealism and if we can get past, in some way, I hate to say this, so please guys, you know, understand that I want the best for everybody, but if um if we can get past our own selfish desires and idealistic ideas about what it is that we want, then of course we're going to have a relationship, because we're over getting our head out of our ass and like actually thinking about somebody else, because a relationship has to do with another person. So like if you're very much into like, what's going on with you and what you're doing, that's not necessarily bad. But if you're like going at it from the perspective of looking for a specific person and you have specific ideals and you're hanging on to those specific ideals, then it can be challenging. And if you aren't really listening, and this is the thing about women, and I'll tell you this, women, and I myself have fallen into this trap, so that you are not alone, okay? Women go out into the world looking for a person, and then the nearest person that shows up, or whoever shows up, they apply their hopes, wishes, and dreams onto that person in hopes that that person is going to turn out the way that they want. And of course, guys are operating from a completely different perspective, and it's usually guys don't feel that they are the person that the woman wants, because the woman is trying to apply what she wants onto him. And unless a man actually feels like there is a genuine thing, or they can picture it, then it's very difficult for the woman to actually have the connection or have the relationship actually work. Because you can't have a relationship work when you are applying what your ideals are to somebody else. It's like putting a blanket over somebody and telling them to breathe, it just doesn't work that way. And so that's the common misconception about relationships. Hi, Bright Smile. Thanks, Toya, so much for saying that. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's just a little bit of feedback, of my experience in relationships. Nobody has it right. Nobody has it down. Nobody has it, but like from observing, and even in myself observing, that you just can't go out and be like, hi, I like you. You are everything I ever wanted. Because it's just overwhelming to the person, and they might not be at the end of the day. And it's important to get to know people at the end of the day and find out if they would be someone that you could love, and if that you have things in common, and if, everything kind of fits together, and if you could live together, and if you can tolerate each other's crazy ass. I mean, it's, you have to work on that relationship part. Okay, Bright Smile, just a second, let me look to see what we've got here. No, there's no list. You're more than welcome to ask the question, because it looks like, I think Cherie, if you're still there, I'm not sure. It seems like Cherie, it would be better to do the question in a private reading, but it's up to you. If Cherie was to ask the question now, then I would take Cherie's question. But if you were to ask the question, let's see. Okay. Okay, so Bright Smile. Okay, so Cherie, I just want to give Cherie a chance to answer, just in case she wanted to ask the question. It doesn't look like she has, but Cherie, if you were to ask the question, I'm going to try to get to you also. Bright Smile, it looks like that is a question that I'm able to answer, that I'm happy to answer, to see like what's the future of your relationship with that person. So I would tell you to go ahead and send a payment. Okay, Cherie says she's going to do a private reading. Okay, Cherie, that sounds good. I think, Cherie, that's probably a good idea, knowing you. And there's probably more questions than just one. So yeah, Bright Smile, if you want to send a payment for $25 through PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App, I can answer that question for you. she's going to have a surprise element to her love life. You know, honestly, the relationships that I have all had have all been a surprise. In some way, they've all been a surprise in the sense that they haven't gone the way that I wanted them to go. And that's okay. You know, it's all kind of like, you think that you're gonna want you want a specific type of relationship, and then you meet somebody else who's like super cool, and you're like, oh, that other relationship really sucked. You know what I mean? Like, it's that whole song, you know, that thank an ex song, you know? You thank the ex for teaching you so much. You thank the ex for helping you grow. You thank the ex for giving you that surprise and not being what you wanted, because it was better than what you had wanted, because it was different and it was an experience, you know? I think having the experience is like the whole point. I think people, you know, have idealistic tendencies and idealistic wants to like sit on a porch with someone, you know, and not do anything. And the thing is like, if you're sitting on a porch with someone, yeah, that could be great, but at the same time, only if you're growing together as a couple, or only growing together as people. Right. Okay, Bright Smile. I'm going to continue with my reading. Let me see. I want to make sure I didn't get any. I have not seen anything come through from you, dear. So you're going to want to send the payment. Bright Smile. I have not seen the payment come through, honey. It's for Cash App. It's $ OracleDaphne. For Venmo, it's at OracleDaphne. Hey, Grateful Goddess. Thanks so much for joining. Appreciate it. Bright Smile has asked me a question that I'm going to try to attempt to answer. We've been just sort of chit-chatting about relationships and how, you know, people want what they want. You know, they want what they want, and then, you know, how is it? So the thing about how can you have a relationship when basically everyone's being selfish? It's never going to happen if you go into a relationship wanting what you want, because you have to factor in the other person. Sorry, my light is being so weird. There we go. You know, you just have to factor in the other person. You have to factor in the you know, other unexpected beautiful things that could happen also. You know? Okay, Bright Smile. I still have not seen a payment from you, dear, so I'm going to move on. Grateful Goddess, if you do have a question you wanted me to answer, you can message me in the live chat. Make sure that it's something that I am going to be able to address here time-wise in this chat, or and then send me a payment through PayPal, Cash App, or Venmo for $25 for the question. Other than that, I am moving on to group 2. Group 2, we are at this card here. This is the Authentic Truth card, which is so interesting because, you know, this whole reading to me has been about, in some way, letting go of idealism and showing up in an authentic way and getting to know people and understanding what a relationship is. And what a relationship is for some people is not what a relationship is for others. Like, I learned that really clear from an ex of mine, you know? Like for me, having healthy communication and talking about things and working through things, that to me is part of a relationship. But for him, it wasn't. For him, it wasn't. For him, he didn't need words. And so each person is really going to be different. I do want to read from the book about this Authentic Truth card, because this is a very interesting card to show up here. It says, when you align with your truth, you will feel flow, feel excited, and believe an authentic life is possible. If it is not your truth, you will resist, find it hard to commit, and feel indecisive. I love it. I love it. Such a good card. I mean, to me, like, the truth should be easy. The truth is easy, right? That's basically what it's saying. Like, if you resonate, you resonate. If you don't, you don't. That's what the truth is to me. It's resonating with something. It's being open with something, you know? I want to be sure here. Let me see. I haven't seen any other questions come through. Bright Smile, I did not see the question come through. Bright Smile, if you wanted to ask me a question, you're more than welcome to still, but haven't seen any payment come through yet. So I'm going to continue on. This is group 2, by the way, for this reading. It's group 2. And okay, so some of you are, and you could be male and be in this energy of, the energy is, you know, the 5 of Cups is about waiting. It's about waiting for things to come to you. It's being like upset about things, like it's like being upset over your suffering, like crying over your own suffering, crying over your sorrows, crying over your upsets, you know, looking, you know, it's like they say, like it's a little bit like crying over spilt milk, like crying over things that didn't happen right or didn't go right, whether it was in a relationship or whether it's things that didn't go right in life. I mean, I could be that person sometimes where I look back and I'm like, well, I feel like I have to justify why things didn't go right. I have to justify, like, you know, if a job didn't work out or if a relationship didn't work out. I feel like in life, I have to justify to other people, and we don't really have to. Like, we shouldn't have to. In order to feel good about ourselves, in order to feel good about our life, we shouldn't have to do that. But I think in our culture, there's this pressure. We have to explain everything. We have to explain why things didn't work out. But you know what? Life doesn't work out because we die. You know? Like, so it's just one of those things that anything that's like upsetting you about the past, this is an opportunity for group 2 to really let that go. Any things that weren't truthful or honest or like to like that you know the thing is, truth always comes out no matter what. So you don't have to hound it. You don't have to search for it. It just comes up. It naturally appears. It's one of those things that just unfolds without you having to do anything about it. So like if say somebody lied to you, usually at some point it's going to show up later. They're going to admit what they did, or you're going to find out about it through somebody else. It always surfaces. It never stays hidden. So like even stuff in the world, right? Even stuff in the world right now, what we don't know about, all that stuff is going to come to the surface. It's just part of how truth works. So anything, like there's no reason for some of you to be upset about the like maybe being lied to or things that weren't true, because it's, to me, it's just stuff in the past, and it will work its way up to the surface eventually. Hey, Gabrielle, I'm not saying your name right. Thanks so much for joining. I appreciate it so much. This is group 2 for this pick a card reading. I feel like the key for group 2 is really not waiting on anybody from the past, number 1. Not waiting on your ship to come in, number 2. And letting go of any spilt milk, number 3. So like, let's just say you're in a relationship. Like, say you're in a relationship. Say you have a partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever the situation is. You've got a relationship. If you guys are stuck in the past, then it's going to be really hard to move forward. To me, that is the problem. Some of you may be like rehashing stuff from the past. I don't feel like so much that that's the situation, but it could be for some people. This could just be upset for someone that's around you. It doesn't have to be female, but to me there's a female energy here. Someone who's upset. There is a lot of coming and going from people too. I'm seeing coming and going. So like some of you, you have a relationship that comes and goes. It's a revolving door. When you see them, you sleep with them. When you don't see them, they don't talk to you. Things like that. Those of you who are in a relationship, going back, I feel like with this group, there's going to be specific people that are in a relationship. And the thing that blocks them from starting fresh is not being over the past. They are just not over what happened. And it's really necessary in order to get over it and in order to move on. To me, there's this whole fresh chapter that's waiting for some of you to come to surface. It's like a whole fresh thing. It's like a fresh start. It's a blank page. For some of you, it's a new job. It's a new relationship. It's a new sex partner. It's a new career opportunity. There's something totally brand new that feels like it wants to open up. But, it's so funny. Like, there's a certain number combination, and I'm not sure what it is. It could be like 9s or 9s and 8s. I don't know. When I see it, and it irritates me. Because in numerology, I look it up and I'm like, oh God, I already know what this is. And it says that in order for the new to manifest, in order for the new door to open, you have to let go of the past. And some of you, that's the issue. You're not letting go of the past. And Toya, I have to tell you that, the strong Capricorn energy, Capricorns, people have this fear, okay? They get into their head, right? The fear that if they let go of something, that if they let go of the past, just hypothetically, that they're not going to have something new come in. There's a fear. So look, for Capricorns, hanging on to something is better than nothing. And for many, many people, that's the same principle. Like, it's like, it doesn't have to be Capricorn or not. Like, you might have, planets in other signs. It doesn't even matter, water, air, fire, wherever. And you just might have an issue where you feel like it's hard for you to move forward because it feels scary. And there's fear around not having anything. And it's better in some way to have something than in your head or in your heart than to not have anything at all. So you need to detach with love from the past. Like, that's the message. Detach with love from the past. Move on from the past. Let the past go. Let whatever didn't happen go. Let whoever was in your life go. Let the new manifest. Like the words that want to come out of my mouth, like, say out loud, I allow the new to manifest. I allow the new to come in. Open the door and say, yes, I welcome the new. Because what's happening right now is you might not even know, like, this whole chapter is available to you, and you're turning away from it. For some of you, you're scared to even look at it. It's so bright. For some of you, it's very, very bright. It's very positive. So I want to get on to group 3 here. This is going to be a short group 3 message because this chat is getting quite long. Going back to Bright Smile, I'm not sure if Bright Smile is still there. I have not seen a payment come through. Not sure if you heard what I said about not taking private questions unless you send a payment. So group 3, this card that I pulled was the Ten of Swords. And the Ten of Swords is a card, it's so funny, a card about fear. It's a card about being a little bit paranoid too. Let me see what other messages come through around this. a lot of people showing up here. It feels to me that whatever fears that you have are having to do with these people. And I don't know what these people symbolize. Like, this could be family. This could even be like fear of conflict for some people, because the tower's showing up here also. For some people, it's a fear of failure. Things could be going really great, but then there's just a fear of failure. Just fear of things not working out, or fear of maybe getting hurt by any of these people. I don't know. To me, this feels like you have family. There's people around you, and or you just have quite a busy social life, or just large social group. This could also be social media too. Some people can really struggle on social media also, and I know that I have, because there's a lot of hate on social media, and you're always putting yourself out there. So I don't really know group 3. It just feels like there's a fear about something, and I don't feel like, from what I was looking at, that there's reason, because it's just sort of hanging out there, and you might feel like you're hanging out there. You might feel like for some reason you're kind of on, I don't know, like a ledge, or like you're just hanging in the wind, and there's all these people around you, but maybe you're having a difficult time connecting with them. Maybe you spend a lot of time on social media, or maybe you feel like, you're just afraid to fail. That's what it is. Let me see if there's any other cards here that are messages that are going to come through. This is the last call for questions, guys. I would need to see a payment come through and questions. Otherwise, I am going to close this reading here, because it's been a long one, actually. And I do want to get to Instagram today. Let me see. I do see a lot of financial gains here for some of you. Things may be turning around much better than you had expected or hoped, financially. Money coming in. I see money coming in. I also see donations or gifts coming in. I also see beating the odds. You got the card about beating the odds, which I really love. It's a card about beating the odds, news of victory, having the hope of love. A lot of things. You're going to get a lot of messages. A lot of stuff coming through email, text. There's a lot of messages I see coming through for you in the future. Some of you want to get pregnant. I do see somebody wanting to get pregnant. It's funny because it's like, you can go through this whole period of time where you focus completely on career and you don't give a shit about a relationship. And then when you have no money, a relationship appears out of the woodwork. And the reason that happens is because you're not so focused, you're not closed, on it. So it's like, when you want to get pregnant, you can't. But then when you don't want to get pregnant, it's the worst time to get pregnant, you do. It's just the nature of the way it goes. So, I wouldn't be able to answer a pregnancy question in this chat. Those of you who maybe want to get pregnant, or have questions about if I were to see you getting pregnant later in time, any suggestions about that, I'd be willing to do that at a private reading, although I'm not a doctor, and I would say I'm not a doctor, but right now, some of you may feel like this is a very stressful time. It's just a stressful time, and you may have things you got to do, and there's some element of pressure, there's some element of you don't feel like you have enough space for room to breathe, maybe in a relationship or in life. But I feel like you're going to be moving away from that. I feel like there's a lot more prosperity to come, and it's funny, I see a lot of passion and relationship cards showing up. Whatever it is that you need to let go of, whether it's a relationship or things that you own or whatever it is that you need to let go of, whether, you know, and for someone, like there's someone who's crying about getting fired or still upset about a relationship that didn't go right or still upset about a job that didn't work out. Like, to me, it's all in the past. It really is all in the past, so let that go. Yeah, there's something, there's, again, we have this energy about letting go. This is going to sound really funny, but for those of you who wear like a purse or carry a bag, make sure it's zipped up when you go out, okay? Because it just seems like, it feels like some of you like aren't really paying attention to what's coming and going from your pockets, or you're not paying attention to what's coming and going from your purse, or like if you have like a compartment in your purse, make sure that there's like it's zipped up when you go out. It's a strange thing coming through, but I don't know why I'm getting that, but I am. So I'm gonna end here, guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for being awesome and amazing. I don't see anybody else asking a question. If anybody does have other questions, you can catch me another time when I do another live, or you can send a payment through PayPal, and we'll just go from there. Thank you guys again. I send everyone big hugs, kisses, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Hey Nicole, I'm ending my reading here, so if you do have a question, you can send me a payment through PayPal or Venmo for private reading, or you can catch me on Instagram next time. But thanks so much. Have a good day. All the best. Bye, guys.